Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to report that I have finally received a Tandy 1000 personal computer SX with two 5 1/4 inch floppy drives. I assume they're 360 kilobytes. The case is all plastic, but seems to be in rather good condition. You know, a few scratches here and there. But it seems to be in really good shape given its age. You can see a few marks here and there. You know, one little dent here, some black spots, those can probably be cleaned up just fine. And right here on the front, there's a reset button. That's a momentary switch. There's a keyboard port there. It says Keybo. That's how they abbreviated that term, just K-E-Y-B-O. Just chopped off the last half of the word. That keyboard port is TRS-80 compatible. It needs an adapter to work with the AT or PS2 keyboard. It is not XT compatible. It also has two joystick ports, which are, well, they use the same connection as the TRS-80 color computer or the Tandy Coco. There's an example of an AT keyboard style. And here is a PS2 keyboard style, which is 6-pin. The Tandy keyboard is 8-pin. The AT keyboard is a 5-pin large DIN connection. Those joystick ports are a 6-pin DIN connection. And here, more marks, and looks like it was banged into things. The power switch it's on the side, just like on XT and AT machines, except it's not a red paddle switch. And on the back, there's a card edge, a printer connection, of course, the power port. There's a light pin connection that is not a RS-232 serial connection. You cannot plug a mouse into that. That's for a light pin, like what you'd use on a, well, like on the Coco. That's a digital RGB signal, just like the Commodore 128 would have for their 80-column display. It's also compatible with CGA, but it has composite video and audio output, so you can connect that to a television. Right here, it looks like something maybe ran out of the power supply. We will take a look at that when we get the case open. I'll turn this around here. This case opens with two Phillips head screws right here on the bottom. Here, let me grab my screwdriver. We will just open this up. There's one screw. Can't get my finger on it. It's not quite coming out. That's alright, it's loose anyway. And the second screw, same story as the first. It's not quite coming out, but it is loose. And the front should just slide off. Just like so. One of the screws actually fell out. Just put it back in the case here. Sorry, bumped the camera there. I'll put this case aside. Then I'll readjust the camera and we'll take a look on the inside of the case. Alright, here on the inside there's this metal cage over everything, which it has screws attached to the motherboard and on the sides here, and well, that warning sticker, which we'll give you a look at, just popped off that power supply. I'll have to get some double-sided tape and just stick that right back down. We'll put that to the side for now. Down here in the corner it says copyright Tandy Corp 1986. There's a floppy cable connected directly to the motherboard. Both floppy drives have a Molex connection on them. Unlike what I've been reading about later versions of the Tandy 1000, where they have take the power from the ribbon cable coming from the motherboard. These appear to be standard, just standard floppy drives. There's the Molex connections for them. The power connection on the motherboard looks shorter than a standard XT or AT power connection. I mean, it still has the 4 ground right here in the middle, and then just 2 and then 3 on this side. Alright, we're going to put that to the side, and like I've been doing with other motherboards, we're going to test this board for shorts before we do anything with it. Alright, I have my cheap Sentech multimeter to test for shorts. See if I can get these in there to do that. Put this here where you guys can still take a look at the display while I'm doing this. Reach my hands under here. That's a ground I'm connected to. So is that. That's pretty standard. That'll work. That's okay. That's all right for 5 volt. Yep. And then ground again. Doesn't look like there's any shorts on the motherboard. Let's take this. I don't think that's going to work. Jab that in here, and we will just check the power supply. Get this over here where you can see it. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. That's climbing slowly. Wonder where it'll stop. It's slowing down. 970. 71 it said there right at the end. That one's going up just like the other one. Same with that. I'm not terribly sure. It doesn't look like it's shorted, but it still might be. Well, shall we live dangerously? I think we'll live dangerously. See, nothing's connected to the drives or the motherboard. We're going to see if we can get the power supply to spin up without anything connected to it. And without exploding it. Oh. Got power to it. And it's on. If you can hear that fan, get down here. It seems to power on just fine. All right, with power on, let's turn this to voltage, DC voltage mode. Of course, it's reading 0 right now. Run that in there. 5.07, 5.07, 5.07. That's very good for a 5-volt rail. 11.8586. That's satisfactory for 12. I think that's a sense wire. It's reading 10.9 volt. This is minus 12. See, with the negative there. 11.85. This may be a plus 12, but it's not. It may need to have a load on it before it does something. Power that off. Well, I'm still kind of on the fence about this. I'm not sure whether the power supply is working or not. It seems to be working just fine. The motherboard doesn't seem to be shorted. I'm not seeing any damage under there. Of course, I can't see the whole thing right now. Let me take this cage off. These are flat-headed screws. They're also nuts, but I don't have a nut driver here. Just pretty standard machine screws, which is a good thing. They have a real shallow cut for a flat-bladed screwdriver, though. I don't know if you can see that at all in the camera. Makes it a little difficult for the screwdriver to get a bite on it. They're pretty shallow screws, pretty shallow headed screws to begin with. the screw down here where you guys can't see it. It's just like the others though. There we go. There's one over here. I may not have even needed to do all of that. Looks like this center part, which is a brace for the middle of the case, so you can put a monitor on top of here with the case cover on naturally. It just pops right out. Definitely makes access easier getting down in here. I don't need to take that off. Just this drive cage. Has a couple screws right here. This one has some paint, or I don't know what that was, but it's gone now. Some paint or epoxy or some sort of glue. You're going to see the top of my head while I get in here to get this screw out of here. There we go. Now does this come up? Almost. Okay. Let's move these before we lose them. Lift straight up. Oh. All right. Floppy drives. 2 of them. Both. Let's have a look. They are identical. TAC FD55BV 221U. 2 of them there. Slightly different serial numbers, but that, well, you'd expect that. TAC drives. Like direct drive motors. Got that stepper motor there. A little bit of dust. Some sort of discoloration there. Definitely some dust there in the bottom. But put that down. Now we can see most of the rest of the board. A lot of disc capacitors, some tiny little tantalums here. I'm not seeing any damage. There's a little bit of that orange stuff that was on that screw. not seeing any trouble there. Some memory here. These are 41 256s at 150 nanosecond. There's 8 of them. It says in bank 0. Bank 1 is not populated. This has at least 256K of RAM. If it has other RAM on this board, there's a little bit there. I'm not sure what those are. Some discrete logic. One of these is probably the BIOS chip. Well, I don't have a monitor for this machine. I don't have a TV that'll take a composite output, but I do have this. This is you've seen this on the channel before. It's my 8-bit VGA card. It should work just fine in one of these slots if we switch off switch number 1, which is right down here. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all on right now. If we switch number 1 off, we should have some better luck. Should be able to use external video. Plug that in. Then there's only 5 expansion bays on this little tiny screw for that. I'll put that aside. Take the shield off of there. That needs a cleaning. Pop this down in there. That may very well be the first card that's been in that slot in this machine, but I can't know that for sure. Come here. And plug monitor in just like so. Plug the motherboard in. Where's my postcard? There it is. We're going to see what this gives us. Sorry about the patented shaking cam. I have the camera in my hand here so we can see this better. The moment of truth. There's me going to turn the power on. It's on. Nothing's popped. It's showing FF. And we have video. We got a beep. BIOS ROM version 1.02.00 compatibility software. Insert system disk and strike any key when ready. Copyright 1984, 85, 1986, Phoenix Software Associates Limited, and Tandy Corporation. All rights reserved. I'd say this machine is working just fine. All the LED indicators for the power rails and such are lit up at full brightness. Let's see if I can get some video output from this. Okay, in preparation for this machine, I did buy a keyboard adapter. Get it out of the bag and we'll take a look at it. Ooh, it all has heat shrink stuff on it. PS2 keyboard to Tandy to make it possible to use my bench keyboard with this machine. Oh, let's plug him in. Get my keyboard here. Maybe. There it is. Plug him in like so. Well, let's see if we can get this machine to actually boot from a boot disk. I don't know if the floppy drives work for this just yet, but this is a DOS 2.10 boot disk. And this is a known good 360K floppy drive. Pop that in there. Pop that on there. And then just... Alright, fine. Plug him in like so. And we'll set him off like so, so the motor doesn't rub on the underside. All right. All right, I've switched camera modes. It's pretty dark here. Let's turn the power back on. You can probably hear that. That's a pretty rich sound coming out of that speaker. All right, let's try this again. I plugged in the floppy drives that came with the machine. I think they're set up differently than a PC standard because there's no twist in the cable that came with this guy. That's okay though. I think the bottom drive is drive A. tested the bottom drive first. Oh, look at that. It's loading Peachtree something or other. Peach text 5000. How about EN? Listen to that drive go. Looks like it has an old Peachtree word processor on there. That's alright, but it did boot to an A prompt, as you can see there. Say this is a working Tandy 1000. I don't yet have anything to test the sound on this guy. And I'd like to get the Tandy video working. But let me turn this off. We're going to see if the XT IDE card will work on this machine. Okay. XT IDE card. And with it, I'm going to try this compact flash to IDE adapter. This might be tricky. I'm going to need a power adapter. I know I have one or two around here. Well, let's get the card plugged in. Then I'll see if I can't find a power adapter for this. There's one there. Pop this down in the socket like so. Plug this power connection into the compact flash to IDE adapter. We're going to pop this off of the top drive, so we still have the A drive in there. Real short lead on that. And a connector that doesn't want to meet up. Alright, I'm going to switch cameras. We're going to look at this again. See what it does with that card in there. Alright, here we are. Turn the power on. You can hear my chair squeaking there. There's the compact flash stuff. It's already selected to boot from C, so we're going to let it do that. And it's booting. And high mem sys isn't in there. That's fine. Let's take a look at mem. That's 384 kilobytes. You could probably bump this to 640 by populating bank 1 with 256K. Wonder if I have chips for that. Oh, I probably do around here somewhere. We'll give that a shot here in just a little bit. What's on here? Oh, it's got to calculate the free space. It's taking a little bit of time. Let's see what's in here, or what we can do with it. Or if it'll even run with 384K of RAM. The speaker has a little bit of feedback in it. With the screen all lit up like it is, it's making a little bit of a chirp. I don't know if this will pick up. I moved the microphone right next to the speaker there. If that makes it into the recording, I guess. Not enough memory available to play the game reliably. You can play anyway, but an out of memory condition will eventually pop up. Let's continue. Improper video card. Okay. It made the screen all green. We'll use that hidden card switch just like it was telling me to. This Tandy to AT keyboard adapter is working just fine, looks like. I just want to see it play. Out of memory. Please make sure you have enough free memory. So it won't really play with 384K of RAM. That's okay. Clear screen turns it back to the grayish white text. Really not much in there. There's the MS-DOS version of Mega Man in here. Oh, not reading drive C. Huh. How curious. Hope my compact flash card didn't go in bad. This probably won't load. Huh. Mahjong VGA doesn't see a VGA card in your computer. If you're sure that you have a VGA graphics card properly installed, press T to try running MJVGA anyway. Otherwise, press any other key to return to DOS. Well, of course I'm going to press T. And there it goes. Must be some BIOS reporting issues. But that's fine. It seems to be working just fine. This software came out after this machine did. And look at that. I don't have a mouse on here. So it's going to quit on me anyway. Sorry I don't have too much that'll play on this thing right now, but it is definitely a working system. I'm glad you all could join me in taking a look at this Tandy 1000SX. In a later video, I will be doing some upgrades and trying to figure out what to do with this system. But that's all for today. Again, thank you for joining me and have a nice evening.